morning. I'd like to welcome everyone, and if you're a visitor with us today, thank you for worshiping with us. If your heart's willing, please fill out a visitor card that's in front of you in the pew and deliver it to Gina at the welcome desk for a nice thank you gift. The announcements. Well, the first announcement is Pastor Aaron will be back next Sunday, so that's a wonderful thing. On behalf of the worship committee, I'd like to thank everyone that delivered messages. Your messages, your journeys, the stories that you told were wonderful. And I'd like to thank everyone else that helped in other ways, because so many people helped in so many other ways. The mission of the month for August is Community Crisis Center meals. Gina, the Connections Team Coordinator, needs greeters on Sundays. Visit the welcome table for more information to sign up. Sunday tree schedules. Sign-up sheets are located on the welcome table, or feel free to contact Chris in the church office if you have any questions. Nursery attendants, we are hiring for this position. Please contact Chris in the church office. You'll find her business card and information, again, at the welcome table. If you need anything, see Gina. Sunday school volunteer teachers, the sign-up sheet is located at the welcome table. Please contact Sue McNicholas for more information. Her business card can be found there at the welcome table. And Beatitudes, we are reviving this group. Our first rehearsal is today, immediately following the worship service. Please come and join us. And chancel choir rehearsals begin Wednesday, August 31st from 7:30 to 8:30 in the choir room. If you'd like to sing, please join us. For questions, see Denise or Gina at the welcome table where you can sign up. Thank you.
Good morning. Please join me in our call to worship and stand if you are able. While we wait, we ask these questions. What does hope look like? What does peace look like? What does joy look like? What does love look like? While we wait, we bend in prayer. Please remain standing for the opening hymn. It's all good.
We're taking the collection up for Chris Goff. She's done just an awesome job, pun intended. Through the summer, she's just gone to extraordinary lengths to help everything run smoothly. You can donate through Zelle, Venmo, or send a check, postal mail to Donna Bowles, or cash as well. And you can see Gina at the welcome table for any of that information. Thank you, and I'm sorry.
Thank you, Jim. All right. Our prayer song is Come and Find the Quiet Center, number 477. Loving God, you know our whole hearts and innermost thoughts, the deep wells of our beings. You know what has become dry and brittle, jaded and mutinous, and you know the gifts we have in plenty, nourishment for the world you love. Mend us with mercy, quench the thirst of your people, make us generous with the good things you have entrusted to our care. Please join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. The scripture reading today is from Romans chapter 12, verses 4 through 18. For as in one body we have many members, and not all the members have the same function, so we who are many are one body in Christ, and individually we are members one of another. We have gifts that differ according to the grace given to us: prophecy in proportion to faith, ministry in ministering, the teacher in teaching, the exhorter in exhortation, the giver in generosity, the leader in diligence, the compassionate in cheerfulness. Let love be genuine, hate what is evil, hold fast to what is good. Love one another with mutual affection, outdo one another in showing honor. Do not lag in zeal, be ardent in spirit, serve the Lord. Rejoice in hope, be patient in suffering, persevere in prayer. Contribute to the needs of the saints, extend hospitality to strangers. Bless those who persecute you, bless and do not curse them. Rejoice with those who rejoice, weep with those who weep. Live in harmony with one another, do not be haughty, but associate with the lowly. Do not claim to be wiser than you are. Do not repay anyone evil for evil, but take thought for what is noble in the sight of all. If it is possible, so far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all. Thank you. And we're going to have a little change. We're going to do the special music now instead of after. Here we go.
Good morning. Yes, Connie and I have an agreement. I won't sing while she's speaking, and she won't speak while I'm singing. The song I've chosen this morning is called The Gospel of Grace. I found it interesting in that the first part of this song, it's actually two songs. The first part of the song is one that you will recognize immediately, and it was written by a man who was for many years a slave trader, brought many slaves to the USA, but he was converted and wrote this song, which, as I say, I'm sure you'll recognize. The second part was written probably by a slave. It's a traditional spiritual called Free Grace. And the irony, I think, is that not only are these two people very different in their approach to life, the slave probably never did achieve freedom, but in the gospel, he found what he needed. Here's the Gospel of Grace. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. I found free grace and dying love, I'm newborn again. Been a long time talking about my trials here below. Free grace, free grace, free grace, sinner. Free grace, I'm newborn again. So glad I'm newborn again. Been a long time talking about my trials here below. My Savior died for you and me, I'm newborn again. Been a long time talking about my trials here below. I know my Lord has set me free, I'm newborn again. Been a long time talking about my trials here below. Free grace, free grace, free grace, sinner. Free grace, I'm newborn again. So glad I'm newborn again. Been a long time talking about my trials here below. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. I'm newborn again. I'm newborn again.
Thank you, RD. That was wonderful. Well, folks, we did it. School has started, at least over at our house. It's a big, big, big day. Before I go any further, I just want to introduce myself. I've come to realize that while many people don't know me by name, which is Carrie, by the way, they do know me as May's mom. That's her right over there, the little redhead sitting right in front. Yes, very shy she is. I don't know about you, but sending the kids back to school is always bittersweet for me. Of course, I'm thrilled to have a little bit of my time back and to not have to shout, "Turn off the tablet," a couple dozen times a day. But I'm also sad and a little nervous to send her off to that place where she spends so much of her time and where so much of her learning happens. You see, when she's at home, I'm in control, more or less, usually less. I know where she is, what she's doing, who she's with, and what media she's consuming. Not so with school. When she's at school, I have to trust that she's being kept safe, that she's being nurtured, that she's learning and being challenged, and that she's being a good friend and a good person. When she's at school, I have no idea what's going on. If you have or have ever had a kid in grade school, you know how challenging things can be. When they enter kindergarten, they're sweet and innocent, hopefully, and everything they know and think and believe about the world comes directly from you. But as time goes on, that slowly begins to change. They have teachers who may not believe the same things you do or who are drawn to certain conspiracy theories. I'm looking at you, Mr. E. And they meet new friends whose influence starts to match and then exceed your own. It is both an exciting and heartbreaking process, and it is one that we are very much still in the midst of. This is where we are with May. Last year she was in 3rd grade, and Mr. E was her teacher, and it was her first normalish school year since kindergarten, thanks to COVID. As I'm sure is the case in every school where kids had to endure long periods of disruption, there were some pretty serious issues in her class. The teacher had to call for help at least once a week because of severe behavior problems, and the class often had to be evacuated for their safety. It was scary and really hard on everyone. So back to May. May's a typical 9-year-old. She's smart, funny, caring, stubborn, argumentative, strong, sensitive, and a ham. You get the picture. She's also very confident and self-assured, traits that it took me decades to develop, but that's a whole other story. One day last spring, May brought home a positive referral, which is basically a special commendation that kids receive for displaying one of their school's core values: safe, respectful, and responsible. Awesome, right? When I asked her to tell me about it, she matter-of-factly explained that so-and-so was having a meltdown again, and so she decided to lead the class in a meditation to help defuse the situation. It wasn't until a few weeks later at our parent-teacher conference that I got the full story. A student was having a severe meltdown again, and the class had to be moved to a safer location. They were hunkered down in a hallway, and everyone was scared and on edge. The teacher remembered that May said she likes to meditate, which was news to me, by the way, but whatever. And she asked if she could give a little demonstration. May then proceeded to lead the class in a full-on meditation. Apparently, it was extremely powerful, and the tension just melted out of the room. When the teacher relayed this to me, with her eyes welling up with tears, I was floored. I knew my girl was awesome, but the confidence, wisdom, and maturity she displayed, it just blew me away. This little person that I've been raising and struggling with, who can't make it through breakfast without covering the entire kitchen in Rice Krispies, Sorry, May. She has this gift that I had no idea existed. And not only does she have it, she used it in just this astounding and inspiring way. Raising kids is hard. Raising kids to be good humans and citizens is really, really hard. Sorry. When we talk about the struggles of raising our kids and feeling caught between a gross, self-indulgent, secular culture on one side and an embittered, mean-spirited, anti-intellectual, religious cultural complex on the other, this way of being that is described in the passage in Romans is the way of being that transcends all those divisions. This is what we want for our kids, for ourselves, and for everyone. And May's leadership that day was an incredible example of living that out with the gifts that she has been given. We all know that people have different gifts. Our children often even have different gifts than we do, and it's so inspiring to watch them discover and use them, especially when they use them to bring peace, healing, harmony, and joy. When we're toiling away in the trenches of parenthood, praying that some of what we taught them sticks, we don't always get to see the fruits of our labor. We just send our kids off and cross our fingers that we did the right things, and it often feels like we make one mistake after another. And while that may be true, sometimes we do, in fact, get it right. Please stand for the closing hymn. Here I Am, Lord, number 559. May the peace of God be in your heart, the grace of God be in your words, the love of God be in your hands, and the joy of God be in your soul and in the song that your life sings. Amen. Thank you.